It's time for Real Estate 101 with the Karey Brown team from Realty Executives Preferred Advisors.
Good Sunday morning to you. This is Karey Brown, broker-owner of Realty Executives Preferred Advisors, and you're listening to Real Estate 101. Today I have an awesome co-host, Mr. Jim Daniels.
Awesome co-host. Now you've raised the bar. I've got a lot to live up to now. My other co-host on 94.5 Country, Rusty Walker, I don't think she's ever used the word awesome once to describe me.
Well, so, that should make for a good show, right?
Well, you have built up my ego already. I do feel pretty good. Just hope I can live up to your expectations. So,
how have things been going for you?
Oh, quite happy. And actually, you are celebrating 2 years of now doing this program on 580 WIBW and reaching out to Northeast Kansans and the surrounding area and helping them with their real estate and their homes. And so there's just some questions that I would like to ask you, and I've never really had a chance to pick your brain before.
Oh, mercy. This isn't going to take long.
Well, now, what made you decide to go from real estate agent to buying a real estate company? It's one thing to work for somebody and get to go home at the end of the day. It's the other thing to be in charge.
I missed the memo about the being in charge thing. So basically, here locally, the real estate franchise that I purchased came open. For about 6 months, it was sitting out there. Nobody owned it. And it had been around in this marketplace for a really long time. Had a good name, and I thought, I'm not getting any younger. So decided, well, I already had a staff, I already had a team, and I already had an office, so why not have a franchise? And just jumped in head first.
Well, obviously, you made a good decision because you guys have been wildly successful. For instance, when you compare your numbers to other agents in Northeast Kansas, where they sell like less than 15 homes per year, you and your team sell over 100 homes per year. How can you account for such a large difference in the numbers there? 15 for the average agent, over 100 for you and your team.
Well, basically, we handle it like a business. We know that it's not something to just kick around. When you think about how the average agent sells, a lot of them are retirement, and this is like a part-time gig, and it's not their sole source of income. So it makes a big deal. It's a big difference whenever it's your paycheck, and you need to make sure that you are doing everything. You don't get paid until a house sells or a buyer gets a home. So you're very proactive, and you're trying to get them to where they need to go and make sure that everything gets handled on the other side.
Make it a win-win for everybody.
Exactly.
Well, something else that you do with your organization is you have a giving back program. Explain how that works, because it's wonderful when you see companies and entrepreneurs, business people that are very successful, and they don't take it for granted. And obviously you don't with your giving back program.
So the Giving Back program is a school program, and it is good for any school, regardless if it's a religious base or if it's a public school, any of them. So basically, whenever we sell a home, our client tells us which school that they want to donate to, and we give back from our commissions. We do not upcharge the seller in any way. It's just 5% off of our commission, and we give it back to the school of the client's choice.
And what kind of results have you seen from the schools? They got to be pretty darn happy when you're able to present them, no matter what size check, the way school funding is these days, anything that they can get to help them out with any of their programs has got to be wonderful.
They are not turning us away, so it's not been a bad thing. We had last month we had a back-to-school month here because we thought, well, let's just let the schools answer the questions that our clients always ask. And really gave them the opportunity to say why their schools are great and just get to know them. And it really helps. I mean, we just want to make sure that the teachers are having to buy things that they shouldn't have to buy because there's just not funding there. And we just wanted to make sure that those things did get done. Shawnee Heights, whenever we donated to them, they put it in a fund for kids that don't have money to go to certain events. So that we were able to help pay for about 10 of them to go to another, like a big scaled event that they wouldn't have the opportunity to do.
Yeah, whether it be maybe a sporting event or something as special as prom, to help out with programs like that. So that's wonderful. One of the many reasons that when you're ready to sell your home, get in touch with Karey Brown and her team at Realty Executives Preferred Advisors, Inc. Not only will they do a great job for you, but they do a great job for the entire community when given the opportunity. Now, that is your giving back program, but you've also got another one that has made a big impact in the community, the Unsung Hero program. And there's a lot of those.
There really are. We really just wanted to take the opportunity to give back to somebody that really doesn't get acknowledged. Like we did one for Big Brothers. The gal there, she does so much for the staff and the kids, and they just felt like she didn't get enough acknowledgement for what she does. So we gave her the Unsung Hero. They had nominated her. Obviously, it's nominated by them. We had given her the gift card, and she actually used it to buy ice cream for all of the kids. So just really, they're really great people out there. And we just wanted to take an opportunity to thank them for being great and, not needing somebody to pat them on the back to tell them how great they are.
Now, are there certain times of the year that you take nominations for the Unsung Hero, or if there's someone that you need to be made aware of, how do they do that?
We take them all the time. So if you would just shoot us an email, preferredadvisorsteam@gmail.com, and we put them into a bowl and we pick one out. It's awesome the things that people have to say about each other. It really fosters a great feeling. Yeah,
a lot of goodwill in the community. So if you know someone who's out there just plugging away each and every day, doing a fantastic job and not looking for a pat on the back or anything like that, well, this is a good opportunity to say, hey, you may not want this recognition, but you deserve it, and here you go. And Karey Brown and her team at Realty Executives Preferred Advisors, Inc. are the ones to do that. Now, do you just work here in Topeka, or how far out do you expand to Northeast Kansas when it comes to listings?
We actually go clear out to Olathe and as far south as Burlingame, Burlington, Osage City, Pomona, all down in that area, as far north as Netawaka, and as far west as Junction City. So we have a pretty broad range.
Now, when you are approached by someone who wants to sell their home, what's the first thing that they should come to you with?
Expectations, what they're looking for. We basically break everything down. We give them comps. We give them a range. Whenever they list their home, they know what they're going to net based on those ranges. And during the whole process, we make sure when they get an offer, they know exactly what their net's going to be. There's no hidden fees. Everything's out on paper, black and white, and we answer all their questions. We market like crazy. We're on TV, the movies, we're on the radio. We're just a little bit of everywhere. We do a lot of social media. Our job is to get their home sold and for a price that they want. And so we take it seriously.
And as always, you've got some fantastic listings that could be here today, maybe gone tomorrow. Would you share some of those with us?
Well, I've got a vineyard up in Oskaloosa that I would love to see somebody get, because the people up in that area really want their wine back. They loved being able to go to the shop and pick out what they wanted, and the people that own it are fabulous, but they have a vineyard in Kansas City area, and so they don't need the grapes anymore. So it has a beautiful home, ponds, a lot of acreage, a storefront, many outbuildings, and the vines are plentiful. So basically, we need somebody to buy that and make it active again, so that they are giving us all great wine. We have a home that we just put out in Clarion. It's gorgeous. It's priced $60,000 under what it appraised for at the county. It's just a fabulous buy. The family inherited it, and they just need to liquidate it. It's just gorgeous. I cannot believe it's still sitting there.
Well, I would imagine it's got to be difficult for you and your team when you go out and see so many homes. Are you like, gosh, I need to move into this one. No, I want to move into that one. You must see so many wonderful homes each and every day, or every week for that matter.
We do. My listing agent, Scott, has actually kicked around one, and I think his wife was like, no, I don't want to move. In my household, I don't let my husband see him, because he would be like, okay, let's move, and I don't want to move. So that requires packing.
Yes, it does. But sometimes you just get so excited about when you see all those properties. And that brings to mind that you've got so many buyers lined up. How do you determine matching up buyers with sellers?
Really it's finding what they want. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes they're kind of the unicorn of the whole search. Like right now, for instance, we have somebody that's looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, main level, basement under $200,000 in Shawnee Heights. They just haven't found what they're looking for. Obviously, there's things out there, but it's not been what they wanted yet. We have a couple that they have 4 kids, and they're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and they'd really like to have at least an acre. And that one, they want to have a basement, obviously, and need to stay a little under $100,000. So that's a little harder to find, especially with acreage. We have one that needs something in the 170 range and they're not even specific about the school district. They're fine with Washburn Rural, Seaman, and Shawnee Heights. They really want a nice fenced yard and really don't want to have a whole lot of maintenance to do. So, again, there are things out there, but they've seen them and not what they're looking for. So if you guys are looking to buy or sell and you have something similar to that, give us a call because we have buyers that are looking. Again, we've got another one in Indian Hills. They want a north or an east-facing home, and they want to buy under the $300,000 range. So if you've got a house that's north or east facing in Indian Hills and it needs to be built after 2010, then give us a call.
So is that how you and your team sell so many homes every year compared to other real estate agents in Northeast Kansas? It's almost like you're matchmakers.
We are. We actually will go out and solicit a neighborhood if we've got a buyer that, and I've done it multiple times, had some friends that wanted to buy up north in a specific subdivision. I sent letters to all of them and said, hey, if you've thought about buying or if you've thought about selling, I have a buyer. And we don't make it up. If we don't have a buyer, we're not going to send it out. We specifically do it for a specific client, and we just lucked out that somebody was actually talking about it and got them a home.
Well, now I've been telling listeners about you and your organization for a number of months now, and well over a year now on 94.5 Country. And a lot of the stories that I share are your client feedback that you get, which is always happy clients. When it comes to stars, if there's 4 stars that they can check, you've got 4 stars. Just the way that you go out of the way to help people. And so what would you say is your favorite thing about what you do?
Happy clients. I mean, it's a big deal. You don't just go out and buy a house every day, and it's their home. It's where they're going to raise their kids and have family dinners, and it's a big deal to us. We take it very seriously, and we really strive to make sure that they understand what's going on.
Can you tell me about Barbara Corcoran and the guaranteed sale? That's one of the things that I get asked about from time to time is they'll be like, how does this Karey Brown, how can she have the home sale guarantee? I'm like, well, you just have to get in touch with her and she can explain it to you. But it's an incredible offer.
Basically, it's a term that everybody agrees to. It's a program that Barbara had set up. And by the way, she is an absolute awesome lady. She is so funny. Whenever I went to shoot a commercial with her, I laughed so hard I looked like a Cheshire cat. My face hurt. She is so ornery. But basically, everybody sits down, we agree to a price, and if the house doesn't sell, then we buy the house.
It's that simple.
Yes.
I mean, it's called the home sale guarantee, and sometimes people think, well, there's got to be some obligations in there or what have you, but really, no obligations?
No, there are stipulations, like we can't just buy a house for, $20,000 over appraisal, and it needs to be in good shape. So it has to be something that we can turn around and resell. We don't buy them to hold on to them. So there are stipulations in there. I mean, it's not just throwing it to the wind and saying, hey, we're going to buy your house.
Right. Well, and I think that people understand that, but for the most part, it's a pretty black and white process.
Yes, and we explain it fully.
Very good. Well, we are talking with Karey Brown of Realty Executives, Preferred Advisors, Inc. I'm Jim Daniels. And what would you say, at least here in the Topeka market, surrounding area, Northeast Kansas, is the most difficult thing about real estate?
Finding the perfect thing for the perfect buyer every time. It's difficult because everybody has their guidelines that they're looking for, and oftentimes husband and wives don't always agree, you know?
I was going to say, is there such a thing as perfect?
No, there's not, actually. Sometimes it's settling on things that, are wishes that sometimes can't be fulfilled unless you want to build. And then, hey, we're all for hooking you up with a builder and getting that done too. But basically, getting husband and wife on the same page, that's sometimes fun. And figuring out whose needs need to be met in that. Big kitchens, big garages, yard for the kids. It's just finding the perfect thing that makes everybody happy.
And so, that to me sounds like you're talking from the buyer's perspective. Now, if you're a seller, what are some things that you can do to facilitate a faster sale?
Have your home ready.
What's ready?
Ready means making sure that your curb appeal, first off, is great. Getting them in the house, if your grass is overgrown and the front yard doesn't look kept and you don't have any kind of landscaping, it freaks a buyer out, makes them think, well, maybe they didn't take care of the house, when really probably you were focused on the house and not the yard. So just make sure that first thing that they see makes them want to come in. That's half the battle. Once we get them in, make sure that the house is picked up and cleaned up, downsize. Make the rooms look larger than what they are. Basically, make them look like there's plenty of room. If you've got so much stuff in there that they can't move around, what could really be a 13 by 13 room looks to them like a 9 by 9.
Now, I'm curious, because I've heard different philosophies as far as this goes. Should a house be staged, or do you think it's okay if the previous owner or tenant moved out and it's now empty?
It really kind of depends. A lot of people can see the possibilities, and they'd almost rather be able to see that possibility. But then I've also I've seen some beautifully staged homes that people overlook the house structure itself, because they're so busy looking at the staging. However, if you're living there and you're open to it, we will stage the house while we're taking pictures.
Would you go ahead and tell me some things that you need for buyers?
So buyers, we need 2 to 3 bedroom, 2-car garage, basement, good condition, nice neighborhood, under 90. Prefer that it has a walk-in shower. And then need the same exact house for a couple other buyers at $75,000 and under. 6 to 25 acres up north with at least a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a basement, and then a 2-car garage. A Morton building would be great for around $150,000. Again, a 3-bedroom, 4-bath, 2-car garage, Tecumseh South Elementary School, and prefer that to be $175,000 and under.
Now, these are people that are seeking homes, seeking situations. So if you're listening and you've got a property that matches this and you've been thinking about selling, they should get in touch with you?
Absolutely. If you've got an agent, have your agent reach out to us, but typically we've already seen it all and have been showing it. So that's if you're not on the market yet. So feel free to give us a call. Our number is 785-213-5188.
What would you say is the best way for a potential home buyer? Because, interest rates right now are still fantastic. 15 and 30-year mortgage rates, probably as low as they're going to be forever.
They are. They are absolutely great. And there are programs out there that if you've not bought a house, you can buy with nothing down.
So if you're a potential buyer or thinking about buying a home, do you go out and start looking at properties first and get excited about something? Or should you go to the bank first and find out just how much you're going to have to work with?
Absolutely go to the bank first. There's just no sense in looking until you know, for several reasons. For one, If you start looking at a price range that's too high, it's kind of hard to go back if you're qualified for less. And really, we recommend that buyers don't buy to the top of their capacity because you don't want to be house poor. You want to be able to fix it up and have vacations and all kinds of things. So really watch your budget and go through and figure out what you can afford and what you can do to live comfortably instead of just buying, hey, if I'm qualified for $300,000, that's great, but are you going to eat ramen noodles for the rest of your life?
Right. Yeah. That term house poor, many people have found themselves in that situation. We got this great house. It's all the garage space and all the basement that we need, but we can't afford to put any furniture in it.
Yeah. It's just no fun.
We can't afford to entertain, to have any friends over. So certainly, and what is the figure that sometimes you hear about a third of your income should go towards housing?
Yes. And then that way you've got plenty of money for a car. I mean, yeah, your car might be paid for right now, but it won't always be. Mm-hmm. And you may not have kids right now, but next thing you know, you're having twins. You want to be able to afford those things. So
you've gone to the bank, you know what you can afford, what you should be out shopping for. What's the next step?
Sit down with us. Let us go through what you're looking for. We go through and just kind of show you what's out there first and let you get it wrapped around in your head. Okay, this is what I can afford. This is what I'm looking at. And then what you're looking for may not be on the market right now. That's why, we've had several people, listen, I want to live in this subdivision. This is where all my kids play. And this is where all their friends are. And so we'll say, okay, this is what we can afford. We'll canvass the area. Are you looking to buy or are you looking to sell your house? We have a buyer that potentially would want your house. And we'll go out and find it.
So those are some tips about what you should do when you're ready to buy a home. When you decide on that house, that this is where we want to live, we like everything about this, before you sign the papers, there are a few other particulars that you should take care of. For instance, inspections.
Absolutely. Inspections are super important, and I cannot express enough. You should never buy a house without an inspection. It's just crazy because there are so many things that, we live with in a home day to day that don't affect us but might affect you. We always joke that the hot water heater is the first thing to freak out and say, ooh, they just moved a family in after a single person's lived there for 20 years. That's the first thing to say, yeah, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit on a holiday weekend. So having a home warranty is also a great thing, but also that home inspection, let them look through and just test everything out. You can go in and turn on all the water everywhere, but do you know what an electrical panel is supposed to look like whenever you take the cover off? Do you know which ones are actually not supposed to still be out in the public anymore? There's so many things that you need to know, and those guys are qualified to tell you. Are they perfect? No, nobody is. They're going to miss things, but hopefully it's not a big thing. They really take their time and stress on the big major mechanicals, and everything else is fluff. They want to, obviously they do everything to check it, but you're not going to buy a perfect house, even if it's new construction.
Well, I know through my history of having purchased and moved into a couple homes, one of the things that I was thankful for with an inspection was a home that I was thinking about, yeah, I'd like this. And then the inspector came in, took a look at the basement, saw some things in the foundation that I never, ever would have picked up on and would have ultimately, as a home buyer and potential homeowner, cost me thousands of dollars that I didn't see coming.
Absolutely. And, people want to make realtors out to be inspectors. We are not. We can't even pretend to be. And that is the reason why we really stress to you to get it done. And whenever you're looking at buying, just factor in about $500 to $600 in inspections. Just know that that's going to be coming. And if we can get the other side to pay for it, then that's a bonus. But factor that in. You really need to know the ins and out of what you're buying because it's not a small purchase.
And that's one of the things that you will find when you work with Karey and her team at Realty Executives Preferred Advisors, Inc. You walk people through. You give them the checklist. And here is the best and safest way, most informed way to purchase your home.
Absolutely. And we even go through the follow-up. I've been working on spreadsheets for what seems like forever now of inspection notes that say, okay, after you move in, these are things that you need to do to keep that up to date, just things that inspectors have sent us that we load into a spreadsheet, give you a checklist, what time of the year it needs to be done, because, it's your first home. I know whenever we bought ours, we totally lucked out because we didn't do a home inspection. And, there's just things that we didn't know we were supposed to be doing.
Well, I'm Jim Daniels from 94.5 Country, sister station of what you're listening to right now, 580 WIBW AM. Been spending some time with Karey Brown of Realty Executives Preferred Advisors, Inc. This is your second year of having the radio show and is sharing the word about real estate here in Northeast Kansas, and also as the owner now of your own real estate company versus just being an agent. It's been a fantastic run for you so far, hasn't it?
It has. I definitely do not have any complaints at all.
And every week on 94.5 Country, I get to share stories about buyers and sellers and spread the word about the fantastic job that you and the team do. And I appreciate that opportunity. And as I say over and over again, when it's time for me to sell my home, I will be calling Karey Brown.
See, this is the reason why I said he was an awesome co-host. He just needs to come do this with me every week. And if you're looking for tidbits and information on things to do to your home, listen to the show. We have, on a regular basis, practically weekly, someone in to explain the different things that they do. Like, for instance, next week we'll have PDQ Construction, and they'll be explaining different remodeling things. Just questions that people ask us all the time. We bring in the experts and let them explain it. So I try to make this an educational show, and people tell me all the time I learned so much just by listening. Kind of freaks me out that people listen, but I also love that.
Oh, it's one of those things about being on the radio. You're stuck in this little booth here, and you sometimes feel a little insulated. But if you've got something that people need to know or hear about, they'll be there for you.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for listening to Real Estate 101. I'm Karey Brown, broker owner, with my lovely co-host today, Jim Daniels. And I guess I should go with handsome, not lovely. But anyway, he's been awesome today.
I'll take it all.
He'll take it all. Give us a call at 785-213-5188. We'd be happy to help you buy or sell.
Thank you for listening to Real Estate 101 with the Karey Brown team from Realty Executives Preferred Advisors. Tune in again next Sunday at 11 o'clock for Real Estate 101.